I'm taking the BUXOM Divine Goddess Luminizer in the shade Venus. Distributing that all over my face, rubbing in evenly and making sure that my skin is prepped and glowy. I don't know if you can tell by my hand or not, but I do have sunless tanner on, and so I'm using the IT Cosmetics CC cream in the shade medium to compensate because I don't put it on my neck or my face. This gives you a really nice and dewy finish when those two products are combined. I personally like when skin tints, tinted moisturizers, BB creams, CC creams, any of the above are rubbed in with your hands because it really gives you a nice and natural skin look. And because the coverage is already so light, you're not going to lose any product by using a brush or a sponge. Just the warmth of your fingers helps sink it right into the skin. Next, I'm taking the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer, and this is in the shade 185. This has a flat doe foot applicator on it, and it has a pretty thick consistency to it. Honestly, I would say it's definitely a full coverage concealer. So for that reason, I'm using a really small amount and just dabbing it out with my fingers. I am just making sure that this is really pressed into the skin and looks really natural. I have not had any issues with creasing with this concealer, and I have only used it a few times. I really like it so far. It's definitely full coverage and you do not need a lot. I'm taking the Fenty Beauty Sun STALK'R bronzer, and this is in the shade Private Island. These bronzers have a really smooth, buttery texture to them and are matte but look really nice and almost like have a satiny finish on the skin. I am applying this directly after my skin tint and concealer and just pressing the product directly into my skin. I had mentioned this technique in a previous video that if you press your bronzer into your skin, if it's a powder specifically, that you're not going to get the muddiness that you would probably get if you were dragging the brush back and forth onto your face. Next, I'm taking the Wander Beauty On The Glow blush, and this is in the shade Bare. I'm basically going to be applying it in that sunburn look to kind of give a nice flush to the skin and add a little bit of color to my cheeks, just to kind of give off the effect that I was naturally sun-kissed, even though I am basically a vampire and avoid the sun at all costs. Next, I'm taking the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek Highlighter in the shade Thimble. This has a pearlized finish and is a really nice glossy gold shade. There's no glitter in this product, and I feel like it sits really nice and natural on the skin. You can see the way that it blends out. It just kind of makes everything melt together and give an all-over blended look. I kind of just put it on my cheekbone, up on my temples, pressing it into the skin, down my nose. I'm just making sure that where the light hits my face is where I'm placing this product, so that way it gets the most natural effect possible. I'm using the Wandress Fever palette. First, I'm taking the shade Sandbar and just kind of setting my eyes. This is a nice natural taupe nude shade, and I'm just making sure that there's no creases on my eyes from any concealer or tinted moisturizer that may have gotten stuck on my eyelids. Next, I'm taking the shade Sun Bear, which is a really nice gold shade. As you can see, it has just such a nice sheen to it. I sprayed my brush with Fix Plus to get the most pigment out of the shadow, and I'm just putting this on my lid into my crease as a wash of color. Next, I'm taking the shade Getaway, which is a nice shimmery shell color. And again, I sprayed my brush with Fix Plus. I'm just kind of focusing it on the inner part of my eyelid all the way up to my crease. And as you can see, our color palette is kind of like a shimmery summer look. So I'm using a Makeup Forever pencil in the shade Pure Red. And this is like a really blue-based cherry red. And I'm just lining my lips with this. Next, I'm taking the MAC Retro Matte Lipstick, and this is in the shade Relentlessly Red. This is very close to the lip liner shade. It's kind of like the same cherry shade that we have going on, so it is definitely going to make your teeth pop and make them look a lot whiter. I'm just applying that directly to my lips since this is one of their retro mats. It drags on the lips a little bit, as you can see, but once you start warming it up, kind of will glide a little bit easier. And this stuff does stay on for an extended period of time, so you don't really need to worry about reapplying too often. So that is it for this 5-minute look. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I know that you guys have been enjoying the simplicity of these everyday looks that are pretty easy to replicate. I have been really focusing on skin and letting it shine through, not really doing an overly heavy brow, and overall have been really enjoying these natural looks. So if you like them, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.